Hello, everybody. Coach Kevin here. Today I'm going to talk a little bit more about attacking and defending third, more specifically how to unmark or how to get away from your defender. So basically move or lose your opponent. A little bit about me first. My name is Coach Kevin. I'm tied to the Boyd Knights FC. I coach two teams, boys. I'm an A licensed coach. I have a CTL. I'm a CTL and DOC, club technical lead and director of coaching license holder as well. I also do we have an MLS next bracket, so I do the scouting for that, and I've done some work in a professional environment as a coach, analyst, and video performance and scouting. I'll include the link to my resume uh, into this description below. You can go over it on your own time. It tells you a little bit more about me, where I'm coming from, where I've been, and if you like the format, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to share with you. I'm also part of the European Association of Scouts, and I have my certification for scouting, game analysis, set pieces, and position specialist. But I'll include the link so you can go over it on your own time. But let's get into it. So today, talking about soccer coaching tips for unmarking from your opponent or from your defender. Obviously, it's it's very essential skill. When you're trying to unmark from a defender, it's there to dominate possession, generate high quality scoring opportunities when you're a little bit higher up the field. You're trying to exploit those pockets of space before or behind the defender. It's one of the fundamental principles. The key principles and player actions that we're actually focusing on are the timing, the body shape, the awareness, explosiveness. So hopefully, I'm going through these 5, 6 slides. We can go into the principles and techniques and the scenarios related to unmarking for a defender in soccer. I included some 4 or 5 techniques there that you can use in order to get away from your opponent. So those are the techniques I'll show you guys in the tactical pad. It's also a full session that you can do depending on what age group you coach. I think it's valuable and you can implement it all across all ages and stages, depending on what elite or level of players that you're coaching. You can actually go a little bit into deeper details as well. So mention the timing and the body shape is basically too early versus too late. I'm also going to focus on the blind side and versus your open body shape when you receive the ball. Open body shape allows you for quicker reactions and better decision making. Deception is a new word and awareness. You try to mislead your defender and try to anticipate what your defender is going to do. So if your runs are smart, you can exploit that gap behind the defender as well. So feints, head fakes, verbal, non-verbal cues, and obviously movement off the ball. It's very important. Angle and explosiveness, obviously, the better angle you have, once you've misled your defender, you can be explosive and move to create that separation. It's very essential. The techniques I mentioned 4 here, 5, 6 actually. So one of the soccer coaching tips for unmarking off the ball movement, it's called double movement or counter movements, and check and spin. So a double movement means you come and go. You can also go and then come into the ball, in and out, and then you reverse it. You go out and then in first. The check and spin is very specific, where you check back towards the ball, and if you feel and see that the defender is committing to you, you can spin off the defender and accelerate into that space that you just created for yourself. Another one is another 2 or 3rd man runs and blindside movements. So a 3rd man run involves dragging a defender away, opening up space for another player to exploit. The defender's blind side is very, very important. Basically, a blind side means that the defender has to turn his head to see you and the ball at the same time. So if that's the case, you're in a good position. Whatever you do, you try not to have the defender see you and the ball at the same time. So you can actually make those sudden moves, and the defender has no idea where you are because you're outside their peripheral vision there. Wall passes and give and goes, that includes a little bit more with the ball as well, but obviously it starts with movement off the ball. So if you check in, you can play the wall pass or the give and go. So after you pass that ball, bounce it back, then you can actually go. So it's basically a come and then you go, or an in and out. It's the same principle. Um, Trying to see if you're actually successful as a coach or in a game, you can go through your video analysis, performance analysis, where you can analyze the real game scenarios. Um, you can use your triangle passing. You can look what your players are doing to penetrate or break through the lines. So basically, the principles here are, you provide options to play forward. Obviously, if you provide that option, the passing is very, very important as well. So the ball carrier to see and to recognize the play there. Scenarios. So if you're actually coaching, I'll go over some scenarios here. Obviously, every line of the field and every player in every line, it's relevant to them where you play in midfield on the wing, where you're forward in the box, build up plays with back four, your goalkeeper, or even anticipating a counterattack. This is all relevant to everybody. So midfielders obviously pressure from all sides, in front of them, behind them, left and right. So obviously very important for them to unmark to maintain possession and try to advance or progress play. So for midfielders, the one that we typically see or coach is where they drop deep into your center backs, and if the defender commits to you, you actually create space for your more advanced midfielders or maybe your fullbacks to play inverted. Your wingers, also see you use a touchline as a reference. You can fake towards the sideline, so out, and then you can come in. You can also go inside and then out. You can come and go and go and come. So those are basically the techniques that we're going to focus on. A forward, same thing. You can commit a defender to near post if that's your run, and then you can pull back to receive the ball more into a central area, central space in the middle of the goal. Mentioned the center backs and full backs. Obviously, you're trying to create passing angles, so you're trying to look for that time and space to receive the ball. So it's very, very important for that one. Those four techniques, obviously, predictable movements for your own team, but unpredictable movements for the opponent. Just add that here because they don't really know what you're going to do as a team. So team chemistry, cohesion is very, very important that you know how your teammates are playing. So obviously repetitions in training sessions are very important. So make it easier for your teammates to understand their supporting players and anticipate their intentions. Obviously, well-timed runs are often more effective than just doing a passing pattern because the passing pattern, Peter, teams and coaches have probably practiced that at some point, but timed run with a little bit of fake or feint, uh, can do a lot of damage. Um, Evaluating success matrix, obviously in action and also training sessions. If you do a passing pattern just to give and go or wall passes, you can see how successful you are in sessions, but obviously you want to see that be implemented in a game as well. Let's go over the main principle that we're trying to focus on. So obviously we're trying to provide options to play forward, and the sub principle, you try to move or lose your opponent when you're marked. A little bit higher up the field because now in my periodization we're attacking and defending third, but obviously if this would be attacking third, you want to finish the attack as fast as possible. That's why I mentioned the center forward run near post, and then once you see the defender committing, you can drop back into a more central area, central zone channel to finish on goal. So separation, timing of the run, quick explosive movement to unmark. Um, this is a little bit more of a definition here to try and understand, what we're trying to do. So it's not just enough to create space. You also want to try and create the angle of support so you can actually receive the ball in between the lines, so we can actually penetrate and progress play. So it's very important. But first things first, the sub principle that we're trying to coach today and this week is to move or lose your opponent when marked. After that, we can go into the speed, the timing, the angle, the distance, the body shape of it. But you really want to make sure that they understand and grasp the idea of what is needed to unmark and the techniques to unmark. Scanning is part of the player action to be successful as a team and also individually. It requires, perception, decision making, physical execution of it. Obviously, scanning. The more you scan, the better. So you know where the pressure is coming from, and more importantly, where defenders are and where the space is when you are in possession. Player action, obviously you're a supporting player. Primary player is the ball carrier. You're a supporting player, so you're trying to find open space for yourself. You can verbally communicate this or non-verbally communicate this to the ball carrier, the player in possession of the ball. You're trying to unmark yourself and run behind your opponent or maybe in front of your opponent if you have a counter move or a double move. So obviously when your teammate is on the ball and he's looking for options or he's under pressure, make sure you recognize and understand that you're a supporting player that is needed in that game situation. And I mentioned the blind side of it, so you're trying to get out of sight of defender's vision, so they have to turn their head to see you and the ball at the same time. This is just a quick overview. We're defending half. We're in the build-up play. We're trying to advance the ball or keep the ball. Our main principle, you try to provide options to play forward. And sub-principle, move or lose the opponent when marked. And in the technical execution of it, we just went over that. I'll show you guys an example session here. It's a written out session. It's a progression, so basically just a passing pattern. You go and then you come. It's a give and go kind of situation with a finish on a mini goal. Then you come close to the ball, you check in, and then you go. That's the second one. The in and out is where the player checks inside first and then goes to the outside. And then we have the reverse one where they go outside first and then in, and then you progress to your game where you focus on your 2v2s, but more specifically, they're going to be separated playing 1v1, most likely. So I'll let it run one more time. They'll go and come, and then you check in and go deep. And then you have your in and out, and then you have your out and in situation. Go out and in, and then this one I just added in and out, so you guys see the difference. Um, don't forget to follow me on Instagram. I have a little over 23,000 followers. I'm posting my season curriculum on there with sessions already numbered, so feel free to follow me on that one. So this is a 2v2 situation. So typically this is just a warm up with the passing pattern. So you have 4 different ones. So I suggest doing 4 or 5 minutes of each with 1 or 2 minutes of rest in between for the players. So that will take you up to 30 minutes of warm up. And then you go into your progression, which is a 2v2. Physical periodization, so game-based training in soccer, 2v2, meaning they're probably going to be on the field for 20 to 30 seconds. They work for 30 seconds to a minute. So the work rest ratio is 1 to 3, 1 to 4. You do 6 to 8 repetitions and 2 to 3 sets for that. So if we count this out, so that's basically 90 seconds times 8, that's your 12 minutes. You do 3 reps, so that's your 36 minutes right there. And then in between your intervals, so plus your warm up, that is your 65 to 70 minute session right there. I was playing towards mini goals, but obviously these are criteria that can influence the intensity and the dynamic of your training and your physical workload. Teams are even numbered, 2v2s or 1v1s, 3v3s if you really want to progress that even further. I use mini goals. You can also use line dribbling or an end zone for them to dribble into. But other than that, there's no specific instructions. There's no restriction or any rules. It's unrestricted play because you want to mimic that real game-like scenario for that one. So anyway, my name is Coach Kevin. If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to follow me at the Scouting Corner on Instagram and also here at the Scouting Corner on YouTube. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.